Hey there, Aubrey. What have you got going on today?
Ooh, I have to pick my kids up early from school today.
Oh, yeah? What for?
They have dentist appointments.
Oh,
I
there's
know,
always the dentist appointment.
it's the worst, especially for small children, because they have a hard time holding still, and it's tickly when they get cleaned, and my kids
Yeah.
have a propensity for cavities as well. Do you get
Really?
cavities a lot, Lindsay?
Once in a while, I
Oh,
do.
that's
Yeah,
not bad.
and usually I'm surprised, I don't eat a ton of sugar, but, yeah, we do. Is there certain people have propensity for
Definitely.
that, like teeth problems for sure.
Exactly, like
Um,
different enamel or whatever, it's genetic. I Some of my
yeah.
kids have never had a cavity, and then one of my twins gets them all the time, and I feel like the toothbrushing habits are about the same. It's crazy.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, well, we all have to go to the dentist. It's part of
I know,
life,
right?
right? But
Exactly.
but here in this opening today, Aubrey, I asked you, "Oh yeah, what for?"
Mhm.
Supernatural, right? And is this connected to a student question?
Yes, exactly, right? I wanted you to use that. It was perfect. Well done, Lindsay.
Oh, yes.
Because yeah, we use this what for in English to say why, and it's related to a really good question we got about the preposition for. So we're going
Yes.
to share this amazing grammar question. One of our business course students, Fabiana, shout out to Fabiana, who's incredible.
Mhm. Yes, she's great. I love this question. Should I go ahead and read it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So Fabiana says, "Hi, Aubrey. What's up? Could you please help me with a question? According to my understanding, when we have a preposition followed by a verb, the suffix ing is added to the verb. However, I've seen some cases that confused me. For example, I wrote the sentence, Louise often goes out for dining, and the English app considered it incorrect. Thank you for your help. Best, Fabiana." Good
Oh, such a
question.
great question. Fabiana actually had a couple other grammar questions with this email that we will cover in upcoming episodes. So be sure to hit follow so you guys don't miss those.
Yes, hit that follow button now, guys. This is the time to get into English, get addicted to all ears English, and figure out how to get connection, not perfection, when you speak. All
Yes, and
right.
that's one of the things I really loved about Fabiana's email because
Mhm.
these verbs are absolutely vital for connection, right? You want to be able to chat about what you did this week or the last time you went out to eat. And these little grammar points, like which verb tense to use, which preposition, can really
Mhm.
trip you up and maybe rob you of that confidence and keep you from making that connection. That would be worst case scenario.
Oh my gosh, yes, because we can get distracted, right? If we
Yes,
don't think we're saying it correctly, it really takes our energy and our attention and energy should be focused on that person in front of us. That is our whole philosophy, that human
exactly.
connection moment. So, what do we need to know? Let's learn this now so we can go out there in the world and connect.
Yes, absolutely. So, what Fabiana asked about is tricky in English. I totally
Yes.
understand why this is tripping her up because
Mhm.
some verbs are followed by gerunds. That's that verb with
Yes.
ing at the end of it. And some are followed
Mhm.
by infinitives. And this is to with the
Mhm.
base verb. And some can be followed by either, depending on the context of the sentence.
Oh my gosh, I love it when we go into grammar, right? Because we need it. It's like
Yes.
we need this grammar, we need to know it. So what is the first thing we need to know? We're going to give our listeners what is it? 2 core laws or rules, is that right, Aubrey,
Yes,
today?
exactly. We're gonna
Okay.
talk about both of these, right? The
Okay.
first one being that preposition for when it's followed by a gerund, verb
Okay.
ing. So these are the
Mhm.
two cases basically where we're using for. Some verbs allow for both depending on the context of the sentence. So we'll give you lots of examples to really make it clear how to use these.
All right. So the first thing to know is that the preposition for follow when it's followed by a gerund. So let's learn about that when that
Yes.
happens,
This is our
right?
pro tip. This is only when you're referring to purpose. So let's
Pro
give a
tip
couple of
today.
examples of when we would have for followed by a gerund.
All right. So this pen is used for writing.
Right, and that's your gerund, writing, right? It's a noun
Yes.
here. This pen is
Mhm.
used for writing, or that tool is great for measuring.
Okay, so the pro tip here, I love when we get our pro tips, is
Mhm.
that for is used for purpose, right, Aubrey?
Exactly. When it's followed by a gerund, it's always about purpose. Always, always, always. So
Mhm.
because you're not referring to the purpose of anything in the sentence that Fabiana sent, you would not say "I go for dining," right? This It's not talking about purpose. It's talking about an activity, right? So instead, you'd say
Oh, okay.
Louise often goes out to dine or Louise often dines. So we do
Mm.
have a little sort of native English tip here that it's very formal to use the verb dine, right,
Oh,
Lindsay?
yeah. That's an important tip for our listeners, right? If you wanna connect, be a little more informal at certain times. To dine, definitely a verb we don't really need it.
Right, we
It's
don't use it in just day-to-day conversation. We'd much more likely say, "Louise often goes out to eat," or "Louise often
yes.
goes out to dinner." We just don't use that verb
Mm.
dine.
Yeah, to go out to dinner is super common, right? To
Mhm.
go out to eat, go out to dinner, I like that. So guys, we're here to show you the 80/20, right? How can you get the most results from the least amount of work when it comes to learning English? In that case, just, ditch that word dine.
Throw out the
Just
verb dine.
leave it behind.
Right, I almost feel like people would only use it to, like, be sort of silly formal, like, "Are
To
you
go would you
dining this
yeah.
evening with your husband?" Like, intentionally
Yes.
trying to
Yes.
sound like the queen.
Totally, or would you dine with me this evening,
Right.
right? If you wanna be silly but really you don't need it. You mostly don't
Exactly,
need it.
right.
Yeah.
Instead, eat
Mhm.
out, right? Go out to eat. So
Okay,
then
so
when we're
yeah.
talking about purpose here, this is the verb, what we talked about at the beginning of the episode, that we use this all the time. So I wanted to have this as like a little bonus that we often say, what for? It's this informal native way of saying for what purpose or why. I use it all the
Mhm.
time. What about you, Lindsay?
Yeah. Yeah, what for? Very, casual, very native and natural. Total I
Absolutely.
definitely use it, right?
Yes.
What for? It also kinda just means why, like you
Mhm.
said. It means why, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And the other reason I wanted to kind of point this out is I have heard mistakes with this because it is, like you
Mm.
said, very informal. It's really too informal, like for at work. This is kind of tricky, right?
Yes.
If someone said to you, like assigned you a task and you said, what for? Instead of like just, in a professional way asking, the why of something, much too informal. So we might follow up on this on the Business
Mm.
English podcast. Make sure you're following over there, you
Yes.
guys.
Yeah, I think I have a like, we're forming an episode idea here, Aubrey. There could be,
Absolutely.
like, 3 kind of gaffes that you might make, right? 2
Right.
informal statements, and then how you would correct that at work when your boss says something to you. "What for?" No, instead of, "Can you tell me the purpose behind this?" Or, "Can you let me know what our vision is here?" Or, "Where are we going with this? What's our North Star?" Other things we could say. Yeah.
Exactly, absolutely.
Alright, I'm ready for number 2.
Okay, so this is when the preposition for is followed by a noun. So here you can say, I went for a walk, right? Fabiana was asking about this because walk here is a noun. There's no
Mhm.
gerund, right? So the
Yeah.
preposition for is often followed by nouns. The grammar's different depending on whether it's a gerund or a noun that follows the preposition.
Okay. So, for example, here's a couple of examples where we're requesting something, right? So she
Yes.
asked for some water.
Yes, or
Okay.
he is known for his speaking skills. And here,
Mm,
speaking skills is a noun, water is a noun. Of course, you might have an article before that or a pronoun, but really, for what? For a noun without the ing. So this is
okay,
tricky
for a noun.
grammar. You can see why if you're trying to pick apart a sentence and understand why would I use a verb ing or not, it can seem confusing. You have to know
Mm,
the context, right? Are we talking about something being for a purpose or
mhm.
not?
Yeah, that's why we wanna stay away from kind of breaking up sentences. We wanna think of them in the context of a conversation, of what your meaning is behind what you're trying to say. I think a lot of our listeners may have learned English in a way that, like, is diagramming sentences,
Right.
breaking up the sentences, and not really fully understanding it, right?
Exactly, right? It's so tricky. And Fabiana had emailed sort of a follow-up question asking, is it the same for every preposition that it's always a gerund if it's about purpose? And I was like, no, unfortunately, like this is about for. It's like for what purpose? For drinking, for sleeping, for swimming, right? That's when we use these
Mm.
gerunds. Every preposition sort of has different guidelines for
Yes.
for what follows it.
Tricky, Aubrey, tricky. That's why we like to give you guys role plays. So hopefully you can remember this role play that we're about to go into and remember the context, right?
Yes, this is a fun one. You and I just ran into each other at the mall.
All right, cool. Here we go.
I'll start us out. Oh, I see you bought some books. Who are they for?
I'm buying a present for my sister. Do you think she'll like this book?
Yeah, I think so. That's a great book for curling up by the fire.
Okay, good. I never know what to get her for her birthday.
Well, the mall's a great place for getting inspiration.
Are you good at knowing what to get people as gifts,
No,
Aubrey?
I'm
Like, are you
terrible.
that person at Christmas time or
You
no?
know who
No,
is Jessica? I don't know if you know this about her, but
I
Jessica
didn't
on
know
our
that.
team is really good about being thoughtful about gifts and getting people the perfect thing. I'm not. I'm
That's
likely to
great.
give you a book that I would like and just hope you'll
Yeah.
like it.
Most people do that,
Yeah,
right? They
that's me.
this is what I want secretly, but
What
I'm gonna
about
give
you?
it
Are
to
you a
you.
good, thoughtful gift giver?
I'm not very good. I'm getting better at making little packages, like, if you
Oh,
get,
that's
like, a
nice.
pack of yoga classes,
Mm.
also get them, I don't know, a sweat towel or a mat
Ooh, I
or
love that.
something. That's kind of fun, right? It's very
A
cohesive
the
and fun.
a thematic gift. That's awesome.
Right, but that's not a natural skill. It's
No.
something I've learned from other people over the years.
Mm.
So, still working on that skill, Aubrey.
So let's go through this role play. I first used for just saying, who are they for? Which is kind of saying, like, what is the purpose of those books, right? Just that preposition. And then you
Yeah.
said, I'm buying a present for my sister. So this is that second use. It's followed by a noun, sister,
Yes.
for my
Sister.
sister.
Yes, I love that. And then we're going back to the first use, right? And you said, "Yeah, I think so. That's a great book for curling up by the fire, for doing something." Right?
Exactly right. This is that
Purpose.
gerund, that verb ing. It's a noun phrase that starts with the gerund curling up by
Mhm.
the fire. That's its purpose.
Nice.
It's good for that purpose.
Purpose. Why are you doing this thing? What for? Right?
Hmm.
Coming back to
Exactly.
that. Okay,
Yep.
what
And then
else?
you said, I never know what to get her for her birthday. And this is that second use again. There's no verb ing here. For followed by a noun, her birthday.
All right. So hopefully that made it clear. We're just chipping away at this challenge, right? This grammar challenge. It does depend on prepositions, can be different, right? As you said, Aubrey. Maybe we'll go into another one another time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. And just to keep in mind, to not let this stress you out, right? In order to
Yes.
build connections, you need that confidence that these types of rules can really rob you of, I believe. It's the same for
Good
me in
point.
Spanish, French, when I'm trying to learn a language. If I get sort of stressed about which preposition and am I making a mistake, I'll probably avoid starting the conversation in the first place. We don't want to avoid that.
Oh my gosh, totally. And we also want to avoid when you think you've made a mistake, what do you do next? That is the key question that we like to think about. Do you drop eye contact? Do you get embarrassed? Or do you maintain that eye contact? Do you continue to pursue the connection? Because honestly, the native speaker in front of you, they get what you're trying to say, right? And
Absolutely.
it is okay. Yeah.
Exactly, right? The sentence Fabiana sent that wasn't correct, I wouldn't care at all. If you use that, I would just be excited to talk to you.
Right. But it's of course, we understand you wanna be correct. I think Fabiana
Totally.
works in the business world and English, so yes, we're here to help you be correct, but never forget it's about connection,
Yes,
okay?
that's the
That's what it's
fine
all about.
line, right? We want to teach you these so you understand why for all these grammar rules, and then, yes, improve your grammar, but don't let it stress you out.
You got it, Aubrey. Good stuff, guys. Hit follow here on All Ears English to get the next awesome episode and all the ones moving forward.
Yes, awesome.
All right, good stuff. Talk to you soon, Aubrey. Take
See you
care.
next time. Bye.
Bye.